Welcome friends to this last video, that is the sixth video for the Python project development using CSV files. Till now in part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 I have explained you how you can do all these methods for adding a record, displaying, searching, deleting and updating a record in Python programming using CSV file handling as a backend. Today in this video we are going to talk about the reports generation and the visualization. Reports can be of two forms. One is the textual reports where maybe some data analysis has to be done and some output has to be displayed in the form of a text on a screen or in a file. And for example, the project which we are discussing here is ice cream parlor. We have learned all the methods of making a changes into the file by adding, deleting, displaying and all these things. But yes, in a report it may be an example that if some order is placed and the bill has to be generated, a bill generation is also a part of a report in a project. So for that we have one basic file as a .csv, ice cream.csv file as a basic file which is maintaining only the records of the types of offers we have, and another file can be created where we may store the orders placed by the name bill.csv. So creating a file by the name bill.csv can be done with the help of the method which we have already learned using adding a record, where a new file can be created and whatever order is being placed, that data can be transferred to textual reports. So in this particular video I'm talking about data visualization where the reports can be in the form of graphs. So we will be basically talking about three kinds of graphs over here: line graph, bar graph and pie chart. There are many other forms of graph also which can be drawn with the help of Python libraries that I will be talking about separate videos. For example, box plot is there, scatter plot, and then histogram, frequency, polygon. There are various other forms of graphs also. But here in this project we will be concentrating only on these three kinds of graph for data visualization, that is line graph, bar graph and pie chart using Python programming. Till now in the code in Python we have learned how we can write down the Python code for handling all these methods. Now in this last video I'm specifically talking about data visualization where I can visualize my data given in the CSV file in the form of graphs in my project. In this particular video, I will be taking the data from CSV file and I will be directly using them in the graphs. But yes, there are other ways also. I can import my data through CSV file into a data frame, and with the help of data frames, the plotting of graph or visualization of data becomes more easier and convenient using pandas libraries. So handling data visualization for the projects in CSV files, I will be talking about it in separate videos where I will be posting about different sample projects for IP students specifically very soon. But yes, in this video, I am directly taking the data from CSV file for plotting a graph. So for let us start with a bar graph. As we all know that a bar graph is a simple representation of bars where each bar is representing me a particular value. For example, here I can say that if I have 5 flavors of ice cream in my ice cream parlor, I can display the price of all the 5 ice cream parlors as a height of each bar on y-axis, and x-axis can be the different varieties of ice creams on my bar. So every bar graph has an x-axis and y-axis. Accordingly, it can be plotted. For that x and y axis I am using to list over here, and the library which is required for plotting a graph is matplotlib.pyplot. Uska ek object I have created here. PP is an object I have used for which I will be using in this code. You can, it's a user defined object, so definitely you can give your own name also. I have given the name as PP over here. So whatever name is being given here in the object, the same object will be used in the code for plotting that particular graph. So let us begin with our bar graph quickly. X-axis and Y-axis, two empty lists are created. Yes, because I'm reading my data from my CSV file, so I'm opening my file in the read mode. This is a very common statement now, which we have already discussed repeatedly in the previous videos in the project. Now, after opening this file, I'm using this object with the help of reader method. Now, my complete file is in the obj.r object. Now, I will be reading this file one by one for all the records. Now each time if I'm saying if row, that means I am checking whether my file is having some valid records or not. Agar if this file is empty, if there is no record, then obviously it will not execute this code. But yes, if there are some records, then what am I doing? I am reading the index 1 of the each row. Now if you remember, my row 0 was the ice cream code, row 1 was the ice cream flavor, and row 2, that is index 2, 0 is the code, index 1 of my each record is the ice cream flavor, and index 2 is the price of each flavor. So for each record I am picking up the index 1. That means for each ice cream flavor I am picking up the ice cream flavor name, and I am appending it in a list by the name X, which I will be using on X axis. And for each record I am picking the price, and which I am appending in list Y. This Y list I will be using for Y axis for displaying or plotting the prices on Y axis. After that, with the help of PP object, I am giving a title to my bar graph, that is a ice cream parlor, and on the X label, because X label is holding different names of the flavors, so I am writing here X label as type of ice cream. And on the Y axis I have plotted the prices, so on the Y label I am writing down price in rupees. So these are the two methods which are already defined in matplotlib pyplot library. So X label and Y label are the predefined methods. Title is the predefined method in this library which I have used over here. After that, my main command is for plotting a bar graph. So in this bar graph, the two basic arguments which are required is x-axis and y-axis. Because I have given my x-axis a name as a list, by default it will take my first value or variable or first argument, whatever I'm passing, it will treat it as an x-axis, and the second argument it will be treated as y-axis. But for the convenience of understanding, I have used the name as X and Y only. You can use some other name also over here. After this, a color code is given here for each kind of flavor, where R stands for red, G stands for green, M stands for magenta, B stands for blue, K stands for black, C stands for cyan color, and Y stands for yellow color. So these are the color codes which are already defined in Python. If in case the bars which I am drawing in my graph, let us suppose there are 10 bars in my graph, and the color code which I have written here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 colors only. So what will be the color given to the last 3 bars? The colors will repeat again. So after my 7 colors are over, it will start giving the colors to the bar from the beginning again. In case my color code is greater than the number of bars, then obviously some of the last color codes will be eliminated. So every time the color code will start from beginning. You can give the color codes accordingly. After that, legends, I want to display the legend that which bar is displaying what ice cream flavor. So I'm using this legend, and I am also trying to save this file in this location by the name as a d::chillbar.png. So here I'm actually saving my file in my hard disk also. So once my graph is being generated, it is displayed on the screen, and it is also saved in my drive permanently. After this, I am displaying my graph, so pp.show, and then a simple message that the graph is saved in the D drive. And once it is done, I am deleting this object as usual in my previous methods, and obviously I will close my CSV file also. So this method I have used for bar graph. Similarly, if I want to draw a line graph, the same process is being used again. X-axis, Y-axis, open the file, read the records one by one. Prices are going in one list and the labels are going in the second list. The titles are given, the X labels, Y label is given. But instead of writing down the command pp.bar, now I am writing pp.plot. So for a line graph, I will say pp.plot, x-axis and y-axis. And now because I am drawing a line graph, I am using a red color, and after this I am using two dots and a star. This star will help me in changing the points, value points. Wherever the value is being displayed, that will be stored or as displayed as a star. I will display you in the outputs also how this star is replaced. Obviously, I have many other symbols also for your information. I can use a caret symbol also. Instead of a star, I can use a circle, that is O. O will be displayed as a dot over there. I can use an O. These are other symbols which can be used. There are other symbols also which can be used. For example, I can have a symbol like this. I can have a symbol like this. There are many other symbols which can be used. I can use a pentagon. So different color codes with the different combinations can be used here. So that is, I have a separate video uploaded for it for displaying how a bar graph works. You can watch my bar graph videos for that. Here in this video, after this, the same command, I'm displaying the legends, I'm saving the file, I'm displaying the file over here. So this is the code for a line graph. I have used very basic commands over here. There are many other arguments where I can make a lot of changes over here. These are dash means, that means that the line which I'm drawing as a line graph will be in the form of dashes. It will not be a continuous straight line. The line will be created with the help of dash. And if I do not want to use these dashed lines, then I can simply say R and it will display me a straight red line only. The third graph I'm using is a pie graph. Again, I need x-axis and y-axis, but yes, the same method, I'm accessing the data, I'm combining the data. Here I have given, I can pass my color code here also as previously as I have written here in my bar graph. But yes, in my pie graph, I am using a different method over here just to display you a different concept of how I can implement it in my code. I have defined my color code separately over here, and now I'm using this list of color code in my arguments as color, which is by default passed to this argument color. This is predefined argument which is required in the method, and this is the list in which I have defined the color code. Now let us understand what is this complete command. pp.py, that means my object which I have defined here as pp, then pie graph, and then y. I am using y because y is holding my values over here. Now in x, I will be using x as labels of my pie graph. And after that, colors, it is defined in the color code. Auto PCT is a 1.1f, that is the percentage. I want to display the graph, pie graph with the help of percentage. We all know that pie graph is used for displaying the ratio of a portion in comparison to the whole object. So when my whole object is, it's comparing the prices, I am displaying it in the form of percentage as a ratio. And then if I'm saying shadow true, that means there will be a shadow displayed in my pie. If I say shadow is equal to false, no shadow will be displayed in the pie graph. So that is just for beautification, for enhancing my pie in my graph. After that, the same commands, there are various other arguments which are used in pygraph, but I am not talking about this in detail in this project over here, because this project is meant for science students, specifically for those who are appearing in CBSE board class 12th for computer science. And in computer science, these graphs are not in syllabus, so only an introductory part is being displayed. Let's run our program and see the output, how it works. Log in as an administrator. Now we have already seen all the outputs and the code for option number 1 to 6. So we will directly go to option number 7. Let us see how these graphs are being displayed. So my first graph, as you can see here, is a bar graph. I wrote down 7 color codes, but because there are only 5 records over here, so only first 5 color codes are being used here. My x-axis is being picked up through the names from my CSV file, and y-axis are the prices which have been picked up from my CSV file again, and the legends and all the properties are being set over here. The next graph, if I which I have written here, was a line graph. You can see here that the dotted lines are being drawn over here, and these value points are being displayed with the help of a star. You can change these value points, as I told you, with the help of other symbols like a dot or maybe another a triangle by using different symbols, or a pentagon also. And you can change the color code also, as I have already displayed you in the screen. The next and the last graph is the pie graph. You can see here that the shadow impact which I've added here is just to enhance the graph in your output. And I have used this percentage to show the ratio for the contribution of each value in my pie graph. So we can save the graph here also, but because I have already given a code for saving my graph in my program itself, so my graphs are automatically being saved at that particular path. Before showing you the path where these graphs are stored in the form of an image, I want to share here that I have already uploaded the videos for paper analysis, blueprints, and the expected questions for IP paper as well as sample papers for CS. Please watch those videos for further updates. Also, I'm uploading some projects for IP students for their CBSE project submission. Now, let us, because I want to close here, so I'll simply say 8, and I do not want to continue. So I said no. Now, let me show you how my these graphs are being stored over here. So let me go to the D drive, because that is the path I have given here in my code. In the D drive, I have stored these paths by the name, as you can see here, chillbar.png. This is my first graph being stored in the form of an image. And then this is the second graph, and this is the third graph, which is being stored in the form of image in my computer itself. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and please keep watching for this channel for other updates also.